Madrid, San Miguel Bakery. A December afternoon. Snow falls softly while the aroma of fresh bread fills the air. Carmen Lopez, 34 years old, single mother, desperately counts the coins in her purse in front of the counter. Next to her, twins Lucia and Alba, 8 years old, watch her with innocent eyes. "Mom, I'm hungry," whispers Lucia, clutching her wool scarf. Carmen only has €350. The bread costs €4. "I'm sorry, ma'am, I can't give discounts," says the baker shamefully. Just when Carmen is about to leave empty-handed, an elegant man in a camel coat approaches the counter. Alejandro Herrera, owner of a 5 billion empire. He observes the scene, and what he does next will change 4 lives forever. But this isn't the typical story of the rich man who helps the poor. This is the story of how a brave mother saved the soul of a lost millionaire. Carmen Lopez contemplates her almost empty purse while her twin daughters watch her in silence. She has worked all day as a cleaning lady in 3 different offices, but the money is never enough. December's bills have exhausted her savings, and now she can't even buy bread for dinner. "Ma'am, can I help you in any way?" asks Mr. Martinez, the baker sweetly, who knows Carmen's situation. "No, thank you. I'll come back tomorrow," Carmen responds with dignity, taking Lucia and Alba's hands to leave. At that moment, Alejandro Herrera enters the bakery. At 42, he is the richest man in central Spain, owner of a luxury hotel chain. He wears a coat that costs more than Carmen earns in 6 months, but his eyes seem empty, lacking the joy that should accompany such success. Alejandro has noticed the scene from the window of his Mercedes parked outside. Something about that mother's dignified expression has deeply impacted him. As Carmen heads toward the door, he approaches the counter. "I'd like to pay for what the lady bought," he said, as quietly to the baker. "Sir, she didn't buy anything. She didn't have enough money," explains Martinez embarrassedly. Alejandro looks at Carmen, who is leaving with the girls. "Then prepare a package with fresh bread, some sweets, and whatever you think a family might need. I'll take it." Martinez quickly prepares a bag full of products. Alejandro goes out and catches up to Carmen on the snowy street. "Excuse me, ma'am, you forgot this," he says, offering her the bag. Carmen looks at him confused. "I'm sorry, but I didn't buy anything." "Then it's an early Christmas gift," responds Alejandro, with a sincere smile he hadn't made in years. Lucia and Alba look at the elegant man with curiosity mixed with gratitude, while Carmen feels her eyes fill with tears. Carmen hesitates to take the bag, her dignity in conflict with her daughter's need. Alejandro perceives her shame and kneels to be at the twins' height. "What are your names?" he asks the girls sweetly. "I'm Lucia, and she's Alba," responds the more outgoing of the two. "Mom says we're special because we were born together." Alejandro smiles genuinely for the first time in months. "You have a very brave mom, and you know what? I also have a twin sister. Her name is Patricia." This small white lie serves to create a connection, to make the girls feel less alone. Carmen observes the interaction, and something about this man's gentle manner convinces her to accept his help. "Thank you," she whispers, taking the bag. "I don't know how to repay this kindness." "You don't have to repay anything, but if it's not too indiscreet, may I ask where you live?" Carmen points to a social housing building across the street. "Second floor, small but cozy apartment. The girls share a room and I sleep on the living room sofa." Alejandro nods without judging. In his life of privilege, he had never imagined that someone could live like this. However, these 3 women seem to possess a happiness that he completely lacks. "Do you work?" he asks delicately. "3 jobs," responds Carmen with pride. "Cleaning in offices early in the morning, assistance to an elderly lady in the afternoon, and at night I wash dishes in a restaurant when the girls sleep." Alejandro is impacted by this woman's determination. "And the girl's father?" Carmen's face saddens. He left when he found out I was pregnant with twins. He said he wasn't ready for so much responsibility. Lucia takes her mother's hand. But we're fine this way, right, Mom? We're a team. Carmen smiles and nods. But Alejandro sees the exhaustion in her eyes, the weight of carrying everything alone. Listen, he says suddenly. I'm about to open a new hotel here in Madrid. I would need someone to take care of domestic management, someone trustworthy. Carmen looks at Alejandro with surprise and distrust. In her experience, when things seem too good to be true, they usually are. Sir, I appreciate the generosity, but I don't even know you. And honestly, I don't understand why a man of your evident wealth should be interested in a stranger's problems. Alejandro realizes how the situation must seem. A rich man offering work to a single woman with children could be interpreted in many wrong ways. You're right to be cautious, he admits. My name is Alejandro Herrera. I can show you my documents and give you all the references you want. The proposal is serious and completely legitimate. He takes out his wallet and shows her his ID. Carmen recognizes the name, Herrera Hotels. It's a famous chain throughout Spain. The new hotel will open in January, continues Alejandro. I would need a domestic management supervisor, coordinate cleaning, supervise, room service, ensure everything works perfectly. It's a job that requires organization, reliability, and attention to detail. And you think I have those qualities based on 5 minutes of conversation? I think a woman who manages to raise 2 girls alone, working 3 jobs and maintaining dignity even when she can't buy bread, has exactly the qualities I'm looking for. Lucia and Alba listen to the conversation with wide eyes. The idea of not having to see their mom always tired and worried excites them. How much would you pay? Asks Carmen hesitantly. 3,000 euros per month, plus accommodation in the hotel for you and the girls, plus health insurance and paid vacations. Carmen almost faints. It's more than she earns in 6 months with her 3 jobs. There's a catch, right? Nobody pays so much for so little. Alejandro looks her in the eyes. The only catch is that I need someone I can trust completely, and something tells me you're that person. The snow continues falling while Carmen makes the decision that will change their lives. 2 weeks later, Carmen and the twins move into a suite at the Hotel Herrera Madrid, a renovated 17th century palace in the heart of the city. The girls can't believe their eyes. Their new home has 3 rooms, 2 bathrooms, and an impressive view of the Retiro. Mom, it's like being princesses, exclaims Alba, jumping on the king-size bed. Carmen explores her new office on the ground floor, a bright and modern environment, from where she will coordinate a team of 20 people. Alejandro has provided her with everything necessary: computers, phones, uniforms for the staff, and above all, the confidence to manage an important operation. The first day of work is intimidating. Carmen finds herself managing situations she had never faced: VIP guests, private competitions, suppliers who deliver late, staff who need training. But her experience as a single mother, accustomed to solving 1,000 problems simultaneously, proves valuable. Alejandro observes from afar how Carmen transforms the chaos of the opening into a fluid and efficient operation. He sees her motivate the staff with gentleness but firmness, solve problems with creativity, and always maintain her smile, even under pressure. How's it going? He asks her one night, finding her still in the office at 9 p.m. Better than I expected, responds Carmen, tired but satisfied. The team is learning fast, and tomorrow the first guests arrive, and the girls are doing homework in the suite. They've already explored the whole hotel and made friends with the chef who is teaching them to make cookies. Alejandro smiles. It seems they've adapted well. Too well, I'd say. Yesterday, Lucia asked me if we're rich now. Carmen laughs. I explain that we're lucky, but that we must always remember where we come from. That answer impacts Alejandro more than Carmen can imagine. He long ago forgot where he comes from, lost in the privileges and luxury he has always taken for granted. Are you enjoying this story? Leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Now we continue with the video. After a month, Hotel Herrera Madrid is already considered one of the best in the city. Online reviews praise not only the luxury and location, but especially the impeccable service and family atmosphere that Carmen has managed to create. Alejandro starts spending more time at the hotel officially to supervise the operation, but actually because he feels strangely at home. He often dines at the internal restaurant, and Lucia and Alba have taken the habit of greeting him when they see him. "Mr. Alejandro," shouts Lucia, running toward him one night. "Mom says tomorrow is your birthday." Alejandro stops, surprised. He had completely forgotten his birthday. In recent years, he had always celebrated it with work dinners or social events empty of meaning. "It's true," he admits, "but I haven't planned anything special." "But birthdays are important," protests Alba. "Mom says they're the day to give thanks for being born." Carmen comes running after the girls. "Sorry if they bother you, Mr. Herrera." "Alejandro, please, and they don't bother me at all." "So what do you think if we cook something special for Alejandro's birthday?" proposes Carmen to the girls, who clap enthusiastically. Alejandro is about to protest that it's not necessary, but something in the girls' excitement stops him. He doesn't remember the last time someone really cared about his birthday. The next night, Carmen and the twins prepare dinner in the suite: homemade pasta, tiramisu, and a cake decorated by the girls with adorably imperfect precision. "You didn't have to bother," says Alejandro emotionally when he sees the set table. "It's no bother," responds Carmen. "This is how you thank people who change your life." During dinner, Alejandro tells about his lonely childhood in Swiss boarding schools, about parents always absent for work, about the sister he only sees at Christmas. The girls listen fascinated, unable to imagine a life without daily hugs and family laughter. "That's why you're always sad," says Lucia with the wisdom of an 8-year-old. "You don't have a family to spoil you." Alejandro feels his eyes fill with tears. That child has understood in one sentence what his therapists hadn't managed to identify in years. Everything seems to be going perfectly until 3 months after the opening, Alejandro receives a call that changes everything. The board of directors of his holding has discovered how much he's spending on the Madrid hotel, and they're not happy. "Alejandro, we're losing money," says the board president during a video conference. "Salaries are too high, standards too costly. You have to cut at least 40% of operational costs." Alejandro looks out his office window and sees Carmen coordinating the check-in of a group of Japanese tourists. He sees her smile, solve a problem with their luggage, ensure they feel welcome. "What if instead of cutting we bet on quality? The reviews are excellent. Occupancy is at 95%. The numbers don't lie. Either you make the cuts or we send someone else to manage the hotel." That night, Alejandro finds himself facing an impossible decision. He can fire half the staff, including Carmen, and transform the hotel into an economical but impersonal operation. Or he can risk his position in the company to protect the people who have made the hotel a success. Carmen knocks on his office door. "Alejandro, is everything okay? I've seen you worried for days." Alejandro looks at her and realizes that in 4 months, this woman has become the best friend he's ever had, someone who genuinely cares about him, not about his money or power. "Carmen, I have to tell you something, and I'm afraid it's going to change everything." He tells her about the board's pressure, about the required cuts, about how her job is at risk. "I understand," says Carmen with surprising calm. "I knew that sooner or later it would end. It's been too good to last." "It's not over," says Alejandro with sudden determination. "I have a proposal for you." Alejandro makes the most important decision of his life. He leaves the family holding and invests everything in creating a new boutique hotel chain with Carmen as partner and operational director. "Are you sure?" asks Carmen incredulously when Alejandro explains the plan. "Are you risking everything for us?" "I'm not risking anything," responds Alejandro. I'm finally investing in something that has real value. The first months are difficult. They have to start from scratch, find investors, convince staff to follow them in the new adventure. But Carmen proves to have a natural talent for business, and together they create a hospitality model that puts people at the center of everything. Lucia and Alba, now 10 years old, have grown up considering Alejandro as a special uncle. They help him decorate the new hotels, suggest ideas to make the spaces more welcoming for families, and, above all, teach him what it means to truly belong to someone. 2 years later, the Casa Hotels chain has 5 establishments in Spain and a waiting list of investors who want to participate in the project. But the greatest success is the family that has been created. "Do you remember when you couldn't buy bread?" asks Alejandro to Carmen one night while they watch the girls play in the garden of their hotel in Seville. "Every day," she responds, "and I thank God for that snowy day." "Me too, because it taught me that true wealth isn't measured in euros, but in hugs, laughter, and people who accept you for who you are, not for what you possess." Lucia runs toward them. "Mom, Alejandro, look what we've written." The girls show a handmade sign. "Welcome home. Here we're all family." Alejandro smiles and hugs his 3 women. It took him 43 years to understand what it means to be truly rich, and now he wouldn't trade this life for any billion-dollar empire. "You know what?" he says, looking at Carmen and the girls. "I think it's time to make this family official." He kneels and takes out a ring. "Carmen Lopez, will you marry me? And Lucia and Alba, do you want to officially become my daughters?" Tears of joy, hugs, and shouted yeses fill the garden. And in that moment, under the stars of Seville, 4 people whom life had tested finally become a complete family. True wealth had never been a matter of money. It had always been a matter of love. And so Carmen, the mother who couldn't buy bread, saved a millionaire's soul and found true love. If this story has warmed your hearts, leave a little heart, like if you believe that kindness can change the world. Subscribe for stories that celebrate the strength of family love. Share with someone who knows that true wealth is love. Comment, "Family is everything." Remember, sometimes miracles begin with a gesture of generosity,